Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am excited to have with me Katherine Lazaruk, and let me tell you a little bit about Katherine. Katherine comes from a performance and education background with bachelor's degrees in music and education from the University of British Columbia. Katherine holds certifications in image consulting and advanced image consulting from the International Image Institute in Ontario, Canada, as well as her second-level international designation. There, I got it out. Designation. Hey. It's early here. Certified Image Professional with the Association of Image Consultants International and 2 coaching certifications. Certified Leadership Coach, which is a CLC, and Essential Impact and Professional Certified Coach, PCC. With the International Coach Federation, she helps professional women and men learn to walk, talk, act, and look like leaders. With the creation of customized educational programs, she brings over 20 years of teaching women and champions of women to leverage their professional presence. When teaching women and champions how to do this, she is showing them that everything from how they look to how they handle tough conversations. And she's a sought-after keynote speaker on topics related to leadership and presence, effective coaching, and consulting practices. And she's been an instructor with the image consulting programs at Langara College, trained consultants. Very good. So she's trained consultants for Dress for Success, Vancouver, and has served on the Canadian chapter board of her professional association, AICI. So let's just get into what we're going to talk about today. And I love the title that she had as a suggestion because it's really something that I think everybody, an attitude that everyone should have. So unapologetically you, embracing your whole self. Please join me in welcoming Katherine Lazaruk.
Thank
Katherine,
you.
so
lovely
happy
to be here this early morning.
Yes, it is. It's early morning, but it's a beautiful day in Atlanta. But we always start with 2 easy questions for you, which is the first, we gave a hint, but tell everybody, where do you live? Where do you call home right now?
I live in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, also the ancestral territory of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh people.
I love Vancouver. I got to spend a week there during a Toastmaster convention and
fun.
And found it lovely. And I never knew, when I was young, I went on a cross-country travel trailer trip with my parents, and we saw the great, the Grand Tetons. And so the redwoods, I thought, were only in the U.S., but no, I found there they were in this park in Vancouver. And it's just so majestic. I just loved it.
Yeah, we have the park right in the middle of the city with these giant ancient trees.
I know.
We're really lucky. We have mountains
so
and
beautiful. Yeah. And sea taxis are things, all the things. I mean, I thought of in Alaska, you might see that, but I just didn't expect it. And I should have taken a ride over to Victoria, my namesake.
Oh, on the ferries, I know. It's
Yeah.
great.
All right. So we gave a lot of your accolades of who you are now,
That's
what
a
you've
long list.
done, and all those things. But you know what I found that's so interesting is that the backstory of who you are and what has led you to do what you do today is far more interesting. So tell us a little bit about what your journey was like from maybe that college student that's taken you to where you are today.
Yeah, 1,000 years ago when I graduated, I was starting out in singing in the opera professionally. So I did that. And I was also teaching elementary school music.
Oh, wow.
And it sounds great. But the farther along I got in both of those careers, the less I liked them.
Yeah, I can appreciate it.
Because both of those careers have quite narrow parameters. And I'm not a very good small box person. But I didn't know that. And it took me 12 years and a lung tumor to figure out that these jobs were not for me. So when I was diagnosed, my husband looked at me and he said, "These jobs are suffocating you. You need to leave." And I had no plan. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I went on a brief medical leave and then I quit. I had tenure. I mean, I would have had to kill somebody to get fired. But I was like, this is not for me. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but this is not it.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, I had a job doing corporate training at PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is one of the big 5 professional services firms in the world for accounting and tax and audit and other business services. And the tumor was gone. And in the in-between time, I had been working with a coach. I was focusing on my health. And I realized, oh, okay, I don't need to die to be free.
Yeah.
Because at the time, and I don't know if any of your listeners or you have ever experienced this, but I was so unhappy, like just desperately unhappy. And I used to wish something would kill me because I'm too stubborn to do it myself. So I was like, okay, something just, I'll fall on the train tracks or something will happen. The bus will jump the curb and that'll be the end. And then when the tumor showed up, I'm like, oh, I'm really good at getting what I wish for. And then I really was like, okay, I don't need to die to be free. I'm free. I've left those jobs. Now what? And I was working with a coach and he said to me, he's kind of an interesting alpha male dude. And he, I'm sitting across from his, across from him at his big desk. And he's like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up, little lady? Now I'd look at him and go, you're fired. Please don't speak like that.
Yeah, don't talk to me that.
Right, don't talk to me like that. But at the time, I just laughed. I laughed. I literally had a vision. So I'm a visual thinker. I don't know if you are as well, but I literally had this vision of the first company name I ever used, which was ICU in a circle times New Roman font, silver lettering, purple background. It was
oh my gosh.
It was super specific.
Yeah.
And underneath image consulting. And I was like, the first tagline I ever used, which was intensive care for your image. And I just started to laugh. I'm like, that's not even a real job. Like, who does that job? And bless him, he looked at me and he said, that's a real job and you could do that job. And because there's no regulation in the industry at all, like you could literally hang your shingle out tomorrow and say, I'm an image consultant and nobody would blink. It's completely unregulated. Right. So at the time I thought, well, I don't know. I look all right. I've read some books. I'll get a business card and start practicing. So that's what I did. But I don't recommend that approach to anybody because there's always more in the closet than clothes. It is a very intimate, very deeply psychological process to work with somebody on their image.
Yeah.
And so I highly recommend getting training, but I didn't know. So I just built my practice up around my corporate job. And when I was divinely ejected from my corporate job in the middle of the recession, I'm like, this is a great time to start my business full time. So I got into a program here in Canada. There's unemployment insurance, but they had a program for entrepreneurs where you could be funded by the government, like have a small stipend year. So they went through an entrepreneurial readiness program. Then we went through business planning piece. And then they gave you like 9 months or maybe a little bit, 6 months to kind of work on your own, and you had business coaching support. And so that was a really interesting program. And I went through that and I built my business. And then when I knew, okay, this is what I'm going to do full time, then I went to Toronto and I got my certifications and just continued to practice from there. And as my clients got up the chain, like they got promoted in their companies, they wanted me to come work with their executive teams. And they said, but we're really tired of explaining to the people that write the checks that you're not really an image consultant. Like you're doing much more than that. So we need you, like your business name needs to change. I'm like, great. So I changed it to Lazaruk Consulting, and now I can do what I like.
So good. And it's better recognition anyway.
Yeah,
Having
that's
your
like
name,
it's
right?
me. It's fine. It's me.
Mm-hmm. So our theme is unapologetically you, embracing your whole self. And
Yes.
so what is whole person, whole presence,
Right.
and why is that so important?
So this is the framework that I've come to develop over the last
Mm-hmm.
15 years of practice, because what I have observed, particularly working in the corporate world, is that many people, women in particular, and marginalized communities in particular, have to do a lot of masking
Oh, yeah.
in order to fit in with the system the way it has been operating for the last couple thousand years.
Yeah.
Ever since men at that time decided to violently strip away power from women and kill all the priestesses and destroy all the divine feminine and totally wreck their container and run the world the way they thought it should be run. Now we're in a world where it's like, okay, so there's no planning for the future. There's no containering for community. Oh, we don't feel so great. Shocker. So especially in the corporate world, people have been trying to fit into this 24/7 growth cycle where we're expected to be in summertime all the time, spring, summer energy all the time. We're expected to be on, we're expected to produce, we're expected to be consistent constantly, which works great for men because men operate hormonally on a 24-hour clock. So it makes sense that they do the same thing, the same way, the same time every day. Totally makes sense. So they're predictable. So women get a really bad rap for being unpredictable, but women are incredibly predictable on a 28-day cycle. On a lunar cycle, women's energy shifts according to what their body happens to be doing with their cycle. And if a woman is not cycling, then the moon is there for everybody, as one of my teachers, Kate Northrup, says. And it means that we need to start realizing that we are different. And everybody is on, like, it's a spectrum, right? Everybody's different in their energies, but we need to start making room for leaning hard into our nature, being human. And what that means is we need to make space for our emotional lives. We need to be more integrated. So the leadership model up until this point has been hierarchical, authoritative, and compartmentalized. And what's happening is we're shifting now to this place where it's more integrated, it's relational, and it's whole person, whole presence. But what happens is businesses say, we want you to bring your whole self to work. And the pandemic accelerated that because all of a sudden you're seeing people's worlds in a way that you never did before.
Yeah.
And you're seeing people's humanity in a way that you never did before. So people are like, yeah, bring your whole self. But then you get to the business and you show up with your whole self and the business goes, whoa, 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 not like that. That's too much. That's too much for us. So part of my work is helping leaders prepare the table and helping experienced leaders make this seismic shift, because what used to work for them isn't working anymore. So being whole means to be paying attention to all aspects of who you are as a person and bringing those into integration and then showing up completely present, because I don't think that you can be completely wholly present anywhere if you are not whole. And whole doesn't mean perfect, because we're all perfect. If you're not dead, you're not done. So there's always something.
I love that.
Right? You're not dead. To be working on. And so it's a little bit about preparing the table. It's about working on ourselves, and it's about figuring out who we are at the core. So in my framework, I talk about 3 C's for people in developing their whole presence. So first one is character. That's who you are. It's who you arrive, whatever container you arrived in on the planet, whatever being you came with, that's who you are. Like who we are at 4 is who we are at 104, right? At the center, at the core, we don't change. But we do get these layerings. And part of our job is to discover what things the way that we've been being, how much of that is our true self and how much of that is something that's been put on us by whatever circumstances, you know, your culture, your parents, your schooling, your industry, your geographic area, cultural, like all of the influences that you have, how much of that really belongs to you and how much of it isn't really part of your true self. So there's some excavation work that we do. And then we look at congruence, which is what people expect. We don't live in a vacuum, and we do have some constructs in which we are operating. So as a person, you need to look at, okay, here's who I am, but here's what people expect. So for example, if you're a Reiki master and you're showing up to do a session, if you show up in a 3-piece banker's suit, people are going to think
say
a little
what?
weird. They're like, what? So you have to spend a lot of time explaining like why you show up like that. Or if you are a very conservative, like in finance or in law, there are certain expectations, certain constructs that exist. Now, discussing whether or not those constructs are great is a whole other conversation. However, currently we operate in constructs. So figuring out what those constructs are. And then the last piece of that is choice. And I used to call it control because you can exert a stunning amount of control over how you're perceived based on the levers that you pull in your appearance, in the way that you speak, in your vocal tone, in your pitch, like all those things. You can exert a stunning amount of influence. However, you get to choose. So who you are at the core, your character, then congruence, here's what they expect. And then you decide, how much do I want to conform or how much do I want to challenge the construct that I'm seeing around me? And how much do I care about one thing there? Because image only matters where it matters.
I know.
Where it matters, it really matters. But if you're on holiday on the beach, wear the bikini, hang out with your kids, get some light on your belly. It's good. Like, don't, you know, there's this really interesting shedding now of these masks and of this idea of you have to be this way or that way. And we're really starting to make space for more different kinds of people. And of course, the system is reacting strongly and going, you can't do that. Get back in your box. Get back into the kitchen. Make me a sandwich. It's like, okay, system, I understand why you're reacting that way because it's already changed and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That was a very long answer to your short question.
But it was a good answer. And it, you know, I think a lot of people can relate to it. I always talk about the fact that I, at 50, graduated from college and it was wonderful because, you know, I always say college is wasted on the youth because you didn't, you know, every class that I took, I could relate. Oh, well, yeah, I've been in business a long time and everything you're saying actually has happened. I can give you practical things that show that this is what they're teaching is correct. And, or, you know, I could challenge and say, well, no, you know, that could probably be adjusted a little bit because of practical experience. But it also built so much confidence that I no longer cared about what others, especially those that were in manager positions, not really leaders, but managers, were saying, because I knew that my authentic self was enough. And I think that just changed everything. And surprisingly to me, then that's when my career really blossomed, is whenever I no longer cared.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I think it's the difference between sourcing your validity from your internal connection to source, whatever that is. Like if, you know, people can call it quantum physics, they could, whatever it is. And some people don't believe in that at all, but they have that internal authority. It's like the I am energy. Once we learn to connect back to our nature and learn how to trust that voice, and we are given a lot of programming about how we shouldn't do that, like culturally, socially, don't trust your feelings, don't trust your heart, or they say trust your heart, but they don't really like it when you have an intuitive guess. So as soon as you can trust that internal authority and start sourcing your validity internally, that's great. And ideally, as a child, you would have had parents who would have reflected that back to you. You are enough. Yes, I love you just the way you are. Yes, here's some skills and talents that you have. Here's some things that you can develop. You know, validate, affirm, notice, reassure, remind. But not a lot of people had that because, of course, their parents didn't have that. So how could they, you
Exactly.
can't give what you don't have. So I think one of the great unlearnings and learnings of life is to really find that connection and to almost reparent yourself and to say, okay, how can I be a better advocate for myself? How can I speak more kindly to and about myself? How can I recognize my gifts, skills, and talents? How can I recognize my blind spots? Because this was one thing that I really struggled with when I was coming up, because I have a big personality, like really big. And what I notice is, particularly when I was younger, if you tell me to be quiet, I'm only going to be louder. if you stop and listen to me, then I'm fine. Like, it's all good. I really had to learn. One of my early mentors said to me, you need to learn how to be an elephant without scaring the mice.
No.
Like, how can you embrace this bigness and this beauty and this big love and big feeling that you have and extend it out into the world in a way that is safe for other people? And that was a beautiful piece of wisdom that just kind of dropped in early in my image training, actually. And I've been learning that since then. But it's this idea of, it's okay. It's okay. Like, I need that bigness. Make the impact and help all the people that I want to help. And I love doing the work that I do because as women, we're really on the thin edge of the wedge. If you look at all of humanity, 95% of the way humans operated was governed by women, like matrilineal structures. And it's only 5% that's been violently governed by men. And there are many beautiful male examples, men coming forward now and going, oh yeah, like, we need more balance. We need to be connecting in with each other better. We need to be respecting each other's gifts. We need to be holding place for one another. And this idea that you can fully disempower one part of a person, like women in particular, like disempower them, take away their financial power, take away their voice, take away their vote, take away their bodily control, and still want to empower them in the caring pieces. It doesn't work like that. Like, if you want those caring pieces, you have to restore the balance of all the other pieces of power that women know how to steward, and that men can then be in their stewardship place. Like, we are together. We need each other. And so I'm really loving this piece that's coming forward now. And I think the unapologetically you piece is then also freeing men. You'll say, you know what, I have feelings too. And it's like, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. And yes, you need to have them. Like, please have them.
That's exactly right. It's
right?
okay to go with your gut.
It's okay. And it's okay to not just have anger. Like, okay, anger is the only expression you're allowed. I can see why you would be violent. I would feel pretty violent about that. You know, it's a really interesting shift in our time. So when it feels like you're doing some heavy lifting, either as a person in your own development for your listeners, or if you're a practitioner like you and I are, and we're on the transition team. World is transitioning and we're all just on the front line of it. So if it feels heavy sometimes, it's because we're on the front line. And that's a great place to be. And I love that, like, it's such a relief, because I'm like, hey, whatever work you're doing, whew, okay, Vicki's got it. I don't have to do that work. Excellent. And then whatever work I'm doing, you're like, whew, Catherine's doing that work. I don't have to do that work. I love that. I love it so much. I'm like, oh, transition team for the win.
That's exactly right. And that's how the world would change.
Right? Exactly.
Person by person.
Exactly. And so it's this uncovering of the self and the embracing of self, and getting in communities where people see you. Remind you of what you have inside you and what your gifts and skills and talents are. That's so helpful. You can't do it alone. It's just, we're not meant to be. It's not natural.
So what are some tangible and intangible results of doing the kind of professional work, that personal and professional development that you do?
Oh, the tangible results are money in the bank, frankly. Right?
Right.
I've had women double their salaries. I've had women negotiate better titles for themselves. I've had them negotiate special roles for themselves because they were so clear on their gifts, skills, and talents that they could say to the company and explain in business language, here's where I can best serve. Here's where I can be situated. Here's where the people on my team can be situated. Here's what I notice. Here's how this will benefit. And there's so much data on how diverse companies outperform homogenous companies by a long shot.
Right.
That there's evidence there. So there's tangible results for me just in terms of improving business outcomes. The intangibles come from the beautiful conversations that people start to have and the level of trust they have with each other,
Yeah.
and the level of settling and safety that happens in rooms where we make space for people to actually be who they are and to get in touch with where they want to go, because not everybody wants to go to the same place. I have had clients who have decided to totally exit the corporate world completely and go do something else that feeds them in a different way. And sometimes it's something beautifully simple. Like one of my clients now is working in an antique store, and she loves it. She loves the antiques. She loves the history. She loves talking to people. And she used to be like in banking. And she's like, I hate this. I don't want to do it. I'm like, then don't.
Yeah.
Then don't. And granted, choice can be a luxurious thing. But in every moment, you have a choice. Sometimes all you have are terrible choices, and that's not great. That's a systemic problem that we need to address.
Yeah.
But in the moment, there's always a choice to go between sort of stimulus response. How am I going to react to something? How am I going to move in this world? Everything becomes a lot more intentional for the people that I work with. And I just love seeing them settle. Like, just settle, honey.
I know.
Hey,
Sometimes people worry that if it's not complicated, it's not, it's not the good thing. And it's like, but some of my best moments are just sitting on the beach doing nothing, looking at the ocean and listening.
It doesn't have to be so hard. And everything in nature rests. This is the other big piece that's really dropped me this year with the teachers that I'm working with right now, where they have shown me in technicolor detail about how important it is for us to follow the cyclical rhythm of nature. That yes, we want to have springtime energy. Yes, we want to have the full sunshine of summer. And like right now, everything's turning inward. So if you're feeling like you want to sleep more, if you want to go to bed early, if you need to wind down some projects, yes, that is what is correct at this time. We rest and then we reemerge. So like on the winter solstice, that's the new year. That's when the sun starts coming back. And so it's like everything up until then is kind of a wind down, and everything leading on from that is starting to wind up again. But it's this beautiful cycle. And I think when people think only of time in linear ways instead of in web ways, that's when they start to get stressed. There's not enough time. There is more than enough time for everything under the sun.
People always comment, I mean, I'm retired, and and they're like, how are you doing all this? I just don't think about it. I just do it. But,
Well,
I don't make you do that. I don't make you
exactly.
do
It's
anything.
like,
what makes you happy.
I want you to do what you're happy with. Also, 50 to 70 are the most productive decades for women. And it was interesting. Something you said earlier, you're like, I just stopped caring. I do also think that's a function of age, because in all of my client base, anyone who's in their 30s, like they're kind of figuring it out. Women get to 40 and they're like, I'm going to do what I want. But women get to 50 and they're like, get out of my way. Like it's a much more focused energy. It's a much more wise, powerful, directive energy for women in their 50s through to their 90s. Now everybody's living longer, but there's something that flips at 50, I've noticed, and in myself as well, because I'm turning 54 shortly. So
well, I'm 66, so I'm closer to that 70.
But it's great, right?
But I said 50s were my most fun years, and now I'm enjoying the 60s as well. So, I think it really is, mindset is a huge part of all of this that we're talking about today, and that choice comes into play there.
Yeah, and I think also what I'm learning is that the body is extremely important. So putting your body first is actually a great way to then change your mind, because your mind cannot change if your body's not safe.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of nervous system healing practices that I've dropped into, a lot of somatic experience work that I've dropped into, because there have been people who have been in therapy for like decades and nothing's changing. But once they get into a somatic practice, which is body-based, things can move it's like an accelerant. Things move really, really rapidly because your body's like, okay, all right, I'm safe. Then all my thinking systems can come online, and then I can change my thoughts.
Yeah.
But up until that point, my beliefs are going to stay where they're at because my system is keeping me safe.
Yeah. Time is flying by. Let's see. What are some of the common pitfalls of professional presence consulting?
You mean like in the practice of consulting, or pitfalls for people who are
I
thinking?
think it's really what are the pitfalls that you are seeing in your practice for, especially after the pandemic. I think
right.
in a lot of ways, I would say the pandemic was a God's gift for us because we need to slow down anyway and
right.
really rethink our lives. But it also, especially for businesses and things, it's totally gave them a wrench into their practice.
Right. Totally. One of the biggest pitfalls that I'm seeing is people trying to return to a high-paced life.
Yeah.
And trying to run the way that they used to run, with just high octane, hundreds of emails a day, no breaks, no stopping to pee or eat or breathe or do any of those things, like just trying to run it the way that we unconsciously ran it before. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make, because it just isn't that. And when you as a person, an employee, say, yeah, I'm still in control of my schedule by and large. In business, many people are still in control of their schedule, even though there are meetings often scheduled for them. They can say, okay, you know what, I'm going to make sure that I have a buffer in between all these meetings. I'm going to make sure that I don't need to be in meetings that I don't need to be in. And if I'm a leader, I'm going to make sure that my meetings are, like, the tactical meetings are drastically shortened, and there's more space for the emotional meetings is made. So lengthening ones where there's feelings involved and shortening ones where there's just tactics, and then not having meetings where they could have just been, and clearing lines of communication, those kinds of things. So that's the biggest mistake, is just trying to pretend that everything's fine, because it isn't, and nobody isn't. Nobody's fine.
Yeah.
Right. None of us are fine. So let's just all admit that none of us are fine. And that now, how do we rebuild? How do we do something differently? So that's the first one. And the second mistake that I see people make in their professional presence is the dreaded shoulds.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I actually wrote a poem about it. I write long stories and short poems. And so I have 2 published books of memoirs in poems. And one of the poems is called Flock of Shoulds. I saw a flock of shoulds like settling on my shoulders, and they were so heavy, and they're just stealing my light. And it's this idea of it's the conditioning of I should do this, or should be this way. And the more people should on themselves, the harder it is.
Yeah, that's right.
To kind of peel those layers away. So that's the other piece. And then compare and despair. So those are the 3, like running yourself the way you're trying used to, shooting on yourself, and then comparing. Oh, this person is there. That person is there. This person did that. That person did that to be quote unquote successful, without even stopping to think, what does successful look like for me?
Yeah.
Because, of course, we're economically brainwashed a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Sort of jump into the Kardashian lifestyle and glorify that, when that is unattainable and unreasonable, and frankly, not all that healthy.
Yeah. I mean, you just see that.
Like these people, I'm like, okay, they have a lot of money, but this is not very functional. This is like
a lot of drama.
Predatory. It's a lot of drama. It's like high stress. Like, you really want that?
Yeah.
Want that for yourself? So it's this idea of returning to, who are we inside? What's our connection to source? Going out and touch some grass. Okay. Now that I'm grounded, now that I feel safe, now what do I really want? Not what my parents wanted, not what my society wants. I'm like, who am I when nobody's looking? And then go, okay, now what? What kind of person do I want to be in the world? What kind of parent do I want to be? What kind of colleague do I want to be? What kind of friend do I want to be? What kind of lover do I want to be? What kind of partner do I want to be? What kind of leader do I want to be? Like all of those things. It's like, you get to decide. You are the expert in you. Right. So go looking, go figure it out.
Yeah. And
right? You might
and
need a
once
few
you find
words.
it, be
Yeah.
unapologetic
That's right. Just
about
own it. Just say, you know what, this is who I am.
this
So
is who
like
I
for
am.
me, being a challenger, I'm like, I try
Mhm.
to be like 10% over the line. So I'm not like completely alienating people. And it's like, I'm going to be 10% over the line. Like one of my really dear friends, she goes, if I don't want to know, I just don't ask you. Tell me. I'm like, yes, I will. Yes, I will.
Yes, you will.
Mhm.
So we have flown by. I could probably talk to you for hours and hours, and I think the audience
Likewise.
would benefit from that conversation even more. But it is time for us to share the slide that has your contact information. If you out there thought, oh my God, I have to talk to Katherine. I like bigger than life people, or, you know, what she said really touched. I know this is what I have to do, but I don't know how. So I'm going to give you the slide that has her contact information. If you're just listening, you can go ahead and go to my YouTube channel. All of this information will be there, Vicki Noethling, or you could go to my findyourleadershipconfidence.com website. It will be in the show notes, but I will read this for you. So go grab a paper and pencil real quick. So the website is LZRK consulting.com. That's LZ like zebra, R like Ralph, K like Katherine, consulting.com. Her Facebook is Lazaruk Consulting Inc. with initial capped, Lazaruk Consulting Inc. And then LinkedIn and Instagram is her name, all small letters, Katherine Lazaruk.
I'm easy to find. There's not very many
Yes.
Katherine Lazaruks in the world.
No. Well, that's good. That's a good thing. All right, so we are going to turn it over to Katherine. She's going to talk to you about what you can find on her website and what she puts out there on social media. What is her call to action for today? So, Katherine, it's all yours.
Thank you. I really appreciate this way of sharing information. It's lovely to have a minute to talk about it. On my website, you will get an idea of kind of the approach and some of the programs and things that I provide. On Instagram, I generally post 5 days a week, and you're going to see my saucy self doing reels and talking about leadership and occasional fit checks, because I still, of course, am doing image work as part of it. Comfortable fit checks. And on LinkedIn, I am a little bit irreverent, but I do my best to post consistently 3 days a week. And if you want to come find me, probably the best way to do it is you can DM me on Instagram or LinkedIn. You can message me there. And if you're old school, there's a contact form on my website as well. And I am just starting a brand new baby program for managers and senior managers who feel stuck at that level and want to go to senior leadership, because I have worked with almost exclusively director, C-suite, and VP clients for the last 15 years. And they've told me many things that they wish their managers and senior managers knew before they got promoted. And I want to share it with you so you can break through.
Awesome. Katherine, I just really enjoyed this conversation. It's so much fun. Lots of laughs first thing in the mornings. Cannot be a bad day, really, for sure.
Good for the soul.
That's exactly right. So thanks for being a tremendous guest today. And as always, I remind everyone that life is a journey, and it's up to
you for having me.
to enjoy the ride. All right. So this is Vicki Noethling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.